Okay, now this video we're going to be looking at the supposed evolution of man. Our book title gives it this title, The Evolution of Man, a Mistaken Belief. And the reason why we say that is because of actually quite a few things. Darwin did propose that mankind evolved from a species of old world monkeys in the descent of man. Now some people make that claim that Darwin never actually made or put forth this idea, and that might be true if we're only considering origin of the species. I don't believe he says anything about man in that particular book. But in his second book, the follow-up to Origin of the Species, the book titled The Descent of Man, he certainly does make that claim. One problem with that, no intermediates in the supposed chain of human evolution have ever been found. Remember that Darwin put faith in the future, saying that in the future we will find these intermediates. 150 years later, we haven't found anything that can conclusively be called an intermediate. So man versus ape. Taxonomically, man is classified in the order primates. Man is the only species in the family Hominidae. Now remember your taxonomy: kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. So the order is primate. Family of man is Hominidae. Man is classified as Homo sapien. This means wise man. And there are several similarities between humans and apes. One, we have eyes on the front of our face as opposed to the sides of our face, like many other animals. Humans and apes both have opposable thumbs. Humans have it on our hands. Opposable thumbs are the fingers that could touch every other finger. And apes can have them on their hands. Some species have them only on their feet. Some species have them in both, hands and feet. So that is a similarity between humans and apes. We have shoulder joints that allow a wide range of motion on our forelimbs or our arms. You can pretty much take your arm and rotate it in an uninterrupted circle with your shoulder. Apes can do the same. We have flattened fingers and toenails as opposed to rounded ones, such as in claws and talons, like we find on many other animals. There are some other animals that have flattened fingers and toenails, but it's kind of a small group that have that. Humans and apes both have 3 types of teeth. And here we have the classic picture of the evolution of ape to man. Now, differences between humans and apes. Humans have a unique upright posture for standing and walking. This posture requires particular muscular and skeletal structures that are not found in any ape. Humans have a larger cranial capacity. The smallest cranial capacity of an adult human is still larger than the largest cranial capacity of an ape. So the cranial capacity is that area in the skull that where the brain actually resides in there, the space for the brain. So humans have more space for their brain than apes do. Arm length. Human arm length, you put your arms against your sides, you flatten out your fingers, they end up somewhere almost halfway between your waist and your knees. Apes' arm length is much longer than that by ratio. It's usually right down almost to their knees or even a little past. The teeth size, shape, and arrangement are different. Even though we have a similarity in 3 types of teeth, the size of the teeth, the shape of them, and the arrangement are very different. Humans have a more arch shape to our teeth arrangement, whereas apes have a more rectangular shape. Some of these you can see pictures of on page 155 in your book. Jawbone size and shape are different. Apes' jawbones are usually much larger. The facial angle, which I actually have a picture here of one of the Planet of the Apes actors from the recent series of movies. And you see the dots on his face, and that's so that they can go in later with a computer and change facial feature, gives them reference points for how the face is turning and all, so that they can create the ape image off to the side there. Humans' facial angle is much flatter than an ape's. The ape's jaw and mouth stick out much further in front of it, and you get a slope going up towards the eyebrows there. Humans, there is an angle, but it is significantly different than that of an ape. Almost, I mean, especially with this particular actor, the way his facial features are coming across in the picture, really flat. Notice in the human, the nose actually sticks out away from the face, whereas with the ape, this nose is, it doesn't stick out. The jaw actually sticks out further than the nose. Now, there are some questionable intermediates. We've kind of discussed this idea before, and the reason for this is because that when scientists find some extinct animals or some unusual shapes, their first thought is, it must be a missing link. I have found the missing link. So that's what they report, and that's what the headlines say. Now, go down the road several years later, after that particular scientist and many others have a chance to actually study the bones that he found, and we realize that it's not conclusively in that intermediate. It's usually, hey, it looks like an extinct type of chimpanzee or other type of ape, or it's fully human. We really don't find anything that, that is in between. Ramapithecus, which simply means Rama's ape, and I misspelled it. It should be Pithecus. It is now discarded as an intermediate. It was assumed to be a human ancestor because of similarities in the teeth. Only the teeth. It was assumed to walk upright, even though there were no hip or leg bones found. This is rather important because there are several features within the skeleton that can give us an indication of whether or not an organism walked upright or walked on all fours, which is the way that apes, gorillas, monkeys do on all fours. And it's the combination of all of those features that really settle the matter, because just one or two of them could still be on all fours, even though it does have some mobility for walking upright. Just like all the apes do, they have the ability to walk upright for short periods of time. It is not a comfortable position for them because their bones and muscles are not attached in the ways that are necessary for constant upright walking. In 1979, a complete skull, which is part of the skeleton, was discovered of Ramapithecus, and it was found to be similar to modern orangutans. Now, it might be a little bit smaller if I remember the measurements right, as far as compared to modern orangutans, but it is so similar that it's not even remotely like a human. It is more like an ape's. Australopithecine is a group of apes, and there are a few species that have fallen into this category. They're called southern apes. That's what the name means. Australopithecine. Australia means south. The Pithecines refers to ape. It's on page 156 in your book. And the first one discovered, actually, it might not even be the first one discovered, but it's definitely the most well-known Australopithecine, is Australopithecus afarensis, or A. afarensis. It is the most well-known, and it is nicknamed Lucy. And I have a picture at the bottom of the screen we'll see in a minute of that. It's not a complete skeleton. It is missing portions of the skeleton. Also, some of the bones are actually fragments. As scientists have studied it, it's under debate. Evolutionists have said a great deal about it walking upright, and there are hip bones and leg bones to be studied in this case. But what we don't have is how the skull attaches to the neck. We're missing some of those other ones. The hip and leg bones are probably the most important for figuring out if it's walked upright. But the other ones would add to that or detract from it. A. afarensis is still a matter of debate among scientists. It is most likely a type of extinct chimpanzee. A. africanus, thought to be a descendant of A. afarensis. It was nicknamed the Tong Child. Although fossils of A. africanus show a few characteristics similar to humans, just like all apes really, A. africanus can be considered an extinct ape or chimpanzee. So a lot of these, it's further study to go, you know what, it's really not as human-like as we originally thought. There are just some oddball features that fall within the realm of apes. A. anamensis is thought to be older than A. afarensis, but a closer look at the bone of, or the jawbone fragments reveals that A. anamensis can most likely be dismissed as another type of extinct ape, not human at all. All the other measurements do not fall inside of the human realm. We do not see it walking upright. Most likely these are all extinct apes, hence the name Australopithecus, which means southern ape, not ape man. We have a few pictures here. Over here on the left is Lucy. Over here on the right is Tong Child, A. africanus. A lot of the pictures that show these skeletons, or especially the skulls, I don't really see it with any other bones, but I see it with the skulls of a lot of these organisms. They have to put them back together. They're shattered, they're broken, some more so than others. And then this is actually a picture of a replica of it. And this really contoured area here, that's the bone that they actually have. That's a model of the bone that has actually been found. This other one that looks very smooth, these other portions, are the ones that they have to reproduce. Now I can't tell because I'm not seeing the other side of the picture, but it looks like the entire lower jawbone was reproduced pretty much based off of a hinge joint up here at the back part of the skull and where the mouth, the actual teeth lay. So they made their best guess as to what this jawbone looked like based off of some of those measurements. Now this skull is actually a better representation than most. Some skulls are so badly fractured or so badly missing parts that I'm amazed they could tell anything about them. The next group is Homo habilis, which means handyman. So this one, they've actually tried to connect to man as an ancestor. Originally classified as a man, many scientists argue that it should be classified as an Australopithecine, though, not as a human. More complete skeletons, which is misspelled there, show it as not human-like at all. So one of the problems with handyman there, and I don't have a picture of this one. Let's see, the next thing here, yeah, answer the science video question, which has to do with one of the first human ancestors we talked about in this video. So go and answer that question.